Alright, welcome back, darling. We're on the third part of the series, and we're starting this session with top stitching the out seams or the outer side seam that we have prepared from the previous video. As always, use the smallest stitch width that you can get from your sewing machine. Same recommendation if you're hand sewing this piece, guys. Tip for you hand sewer, use this single thread method so that your stitch looks neater. In most of my hand sewn pieces, I use this method. Up next is we join together the front center seam. Pin to get the corners aligned and secure. And then right now I'm basically sewing along the center of the seam allowance here. Like so. This is because we will be ripping off half of the outer stitch we made. Note that we are only removing that length parallel to this inner stitch. Basically, we are removing this seam, so we are left with just a fold that will look like a zipper flap on the front. Now let's cut slits along the curve and fold the seam allowance, getting ready to top stitch our zipper flap. So here you go, guys. The top stitch is like this L-shaped or sometimes J-shaped top stitch that we see in human-sized denim shorts. I believe the purpose of this is to reinforce the zipper flap, but it just does the same thing too for our mini flap, right? Now let's move on to the waistband. Cut slits along the curvy sides of the waist seam allowance. After making sure that your waistband and the shorts assembly face each other's right sides, let's pin to secure the two at the seam lines. So here goes our waistband. Cut off the extra side edges as well as the waist allowance to avoid a bulky waistband. Now let's first seal the side edges. Fold and pin to secure. I'm remarking here the corners just to be sure. Now let's flip that corner and tuck inside the seam allowance. Yay! Sharp, clean corners right there. Now let's pin that waistband fold. Since we are on a pinning mode, might as well do the cuffed hem fold and pin. This is what I mean by folding twice. The first fold will be narrower and the second one is your actual cuff thickness. In my case, the first fold is 5 millimeters and the second one, or the final one, is 8 millimeters. That's why I had 1.3 centimeters total hem allowance. Yes. Now we're all pinned and ready to sew. All right, I think we're good. By the way, also run a top stitch on the side of the center back so it is flat. Now let's get to closing that center back, but only the bottom half of it, okay? Up next is closing our inseams. You know, those seams at the inner thigh part of the pants. Pin first if necessary. Okay, now that that's done, let's secure the seam allowance flat to the sides. This is just so they look neat. Okay, one more thing. Let's seal those pocket bags there too. And there you go. I think we're done on the assembly part. Next video, we'll be finishing and embellishing this garment, so see you there.